Well, let's cross now to London. We're going to talk to Thomas Gift. He's a lecturer in political science at UCL, University College London. He's also founding director of the Centre on US Politics. Thanks very much for being with us, joining us on the programme today. Let's have your overview first. I mean, what was your overall impression of the debate? How did the men come across? Because aside from the issues, that's crucial as well, isn't it?
Well, it's not obvious to me that there was a clear winner last night, but I think there was a clear loser, and that's the 10% or so of undecided American voters who tuned into the debate hoping to see a reasoned discussion about the major issues dominating headlines in the U.S., the coronavirus, the economy, social unrest, the Supreme Court, and so on. I think the constant bickering, interruptions, and argumentative nature of the debate really obscured a substantive focus on policy. Trump fueled that combativeness more than Biden, but moderator Chris Wallace, to an extent, lost control early on and had trouble restoring order. Trump's attacks on Biden likely went over well with his conservative base, and Biden's appeal to compassion likely helped him on the left. Yet I don't think either candidate landed any knockout punches, and I wouldn't expect the polls to change too much after last night.
Yeah, as you say, it's very difficult to get those issues across. I mean, they did talk, for example, about race relations, also white supremacy. There was one moment when Biden asked Donald Trump to condemn white supremacists. Let's have a quick listen to that.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys. Stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
FBI director
This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got to be
not
kidding.
militia. That's what his FBI, FBI director said. Well,
yeah, you'd think that might be an issue where Joe Biden would have the upper hand, but as you saw in that clip, Donald Trump flipping it around almost immediately.
Exactly. And that's a typical tactic of Donald Trump. He doesn't want to address the actual issue, so he flips it to something on the left. And so, this was a relatively simple question that Trump was presented with. Will you condemn this white supremacist group? He refused to do so, or did so in very muted language. I think it was a regrettable response. And I think overall, Biden had the upper hand in that discussion.
What about climate as well? They debated that issue as well. Donald Trump very much defending his record on that. Let's listen to that exchange.
I want crystal clean water and air. I want beautiful, clean air. We have now the lowest carbon. If you look at our numbers right now, we are doing phenomenally. But I haven't destroyed our businesses. Our businesses aren't put out of commission. If you look at the Paris Accord, it was a disaster from our standpoint.
there's so many things that we can do now to create thousands and thousands of jobs by having a new infrastructure that, in fact, is green. And the first thing I will do, I will rejoin the Paris Accord. I will join the Paris Accord because with us out of it, look what's happening. It's all falling apart.
Yeah, Donald Trump pretty certain there, saying he's doing very well on climate change.
Well, the environment is certainly an issue where there is a sharp contrast between Biden and Trump. Of course, much of Trump's administration has been bent on rolling back a lot of the Obama-era regulations, ensuring a cleaner environment. Biden says that he would take a much stronger approach, put more energy, investment of resources, and so on into, clean energy, wind, solar, other renewable resources. So that's certainly a sharp contrast between the two candidates.
Just time to ask you about taxes as well. Joe Biden actually released his tax returns just beforehand, showing he paid $346,000 in federal taxes in 2019. He did admit that he's actually seeking a refund of nearly $47,000 because him and his wife think he's overpaid the government. But once again, I mean, that was an issue you would think Joe Biden, with those revelations in the New York Times this week, would really win over. But Donald Trump very much defending himself and quoting figures that obviously there's no proof for back at him.
Exactly. Again, a typical strategy of Donald Trump, which is he's not engaging the actual issue here. The New York Times report was fairly clear. Donald Trump in 2016 paid only $750 in federal income tax personally to the IRS. You would think that that would be a big Achilles heel for him. Biden is trying to make this an argument about social solidarity, that normal, hardworking Americans, nurses, teachers, doctors, and so on pay their taxes, but the president doesn't seem to. So, yeah, I mean, certainly an issue. Whether that's actually going to sway voters or not is a big question.
Thomas, if you don't mind, Thomas Gift, I'm going to ask you a slightly out-of-the-box question. Have you voted yet?
I have not voted, but I actually just received my ballot in the mail a couple days ago. I'm registered in Pennsylvania, a small town called Chambersburg there. So my vote actually matters because I'm in a state that is a swing state, a battleground state, has 20 electoral votes, and could actually move the election in one direction or the other. So I'm looking forward to filling out my ballot and sending it in promptly.
Because it's a crucial one, isn't it? Because obviously a lot of people either have already voted or are voting at the moment. So you sort of alluded to this earlier on, but whether this whole debate actually makes any difference to the campaign and how people vote is really something which a lot of people are saying it doesn't make any difference.
Exactly. I'm not sure if last night's debate will have a sizable impact on reshaping the election. First off, there are very few undecided voters as it is, just a hair over 10% of the American public. Almost all the voters who went into last night's debate favoring Trump probably still favor Trump, and vice versa for Biden. From that standpoint, however, no clear victor may actually be more favorable to Biden than to Trump. The reason is simply that Biden leads in the polls nationally by a comfortable margin and continues to maintain a lead in most swing states. For that reason, a reinforcement of the status quo is probably acceptable to him as he tries to cling to his lead for the next month or so prior to the election. Trump, by contrast, needs to chip away at that lead, so it's possible last night's debate was a missed opportunity.
Good to talk to you. Thanks very much for joining us today. That's Thomas Gift, lecturer in political science at UCL in London. Thanks very much.